I absolutely love fall harvests, so today I'm going to invite you along on a fall harvest here on our homestead at Together We Harvest. I'm going to share with you a couple of things that we grow, why we grow them, and at the same time I'm going to be doing some garden clean out, giving our old plants to the chickens to be broken down to compost, and I just want to bring you along and share with you and show you what that entire process looks like. More than ever, we've really struggled with blight this season, so all of these tomatoes need to get pulled, but there are still some tomatoes on here, like this is a decent Roma here, not huge, nothing impressive, that we can save and still make into sauce later on. And this basil plant is huge and it's starting to go to seed, as you can see on the top, so we're going to harvest that as well. We're in real tight quarters over here, so we've got some nice slicers that are going to be coming inside. One thing to do as you're harvesting your garden, in the fall at least, is to bring a wheelbarrow. Now the wheelbarrow wouldn't be for harvesting as much as just putting old plants in. Like this tomato plant is pretty much shot. I'll save this one here, and I think the rest are just going to go with the chickens. That's probably the best use of what we have here. This one's going to go to the chickens. These basil plants have gotten crazy. We've already brought in a whole bunch and started to dehydrate them, and that process has gone well. So now we have some that are just in mason jars that are dry to sprinkle on food. But I think what we're going to do with all of these and a couple of other plants as well is actually make pesto. So what I like to do with these is I like to chop them up a little higher in the stem. It's a little easier, and that way you end up with quite a bit of leaves actually to work with, and you don't have the hard woody stemmy part you're dealing with in the bottom. I'll just take that out, and that can go in the compost bin as well. So just cut the tops to all these leaves. Just they smell amazing if you were here right now. And if you look here, just from this one plant, we have this, not to mention with stuff that we've already harvested. This is really what we need the wheelbarrow for, because this is all grass clippings and leaf mulch that I collect from around the yard in our lawnmower. And so what I do is I literally just put down the potatoes on the ground, put on leaf mulch, and put down grass clippings and just cover it. I don't do any digging or anything like that. And that wheelbarrow is going to come in handy because all of this leaf mulch, these dead plants, and the dead grass that's on here is going to go, the grass clippings is going to go into that wheelbarrow. So basically all you do is you start lifting up all of this dead debris, putting it into the wheelbarrow. The potatoes will reveal themselves as they come up. I can already see a couple of them right here. So 1, 2, and 3, they're just underneath this. There's not a lot of digging involved. Some decent ones here. So those will definitely go in the basket. We just work our way down. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that half has been harvested for the most part, and we ended up with a decent amount of potatoes over there. Can't complain. You know, potatoes used to be one of my favorite things to harvest, and it still kind of is because it's all full of surprises. But I also get nervous because I'm going to think, are they green? Are they, these ones are fine. Are they full of scab? So it's always one of those things, you know, with a plant you can see, tomatoes, cucumbers, you know what kind of condition they're in. Tomatoes, it's always a big surprise, or potatoes, excuse me. So we ended up with, I would say, an average harvest. Look at these. These are a good size, right here. So once you have this average harvest like this, you gotta make mental notes for next year so that doesn't happen again. We don't want average harvest, we want way above average harvest. We want outstanding harvest here. This is a quick recap of what I've harvested so far. I've got about 1/3 of a bushel basket of potatoes. Not the best harvest, but still thankful to have them. That's the last of our potatoes this year. We have a whole bunch inside I picked earlier. This was one basil plant, fills up this little basket here. We have 3 or 4 more, at least this big, if not bigger. And these are the tomatoes I harvested from today. I mean, there's a million reasons why carrots are one of the best things you can possibly grow. It's in my top 5 survival crops for sure. They take up so little space. You can pack them in around anything. They are easy to grow in my opinion. So this one here is a really good size. That's what we're going for. Of course, we always have smaller ones too, and it's not like the store where you have everything perfect. We don't discriminate here. We take all of the carrots we can get. This is probably more of an average size, I would say, that we're used to getting here on our homestead. Now I just grabbed a whole handful and got quite the amount of carrots here. You can make pesto from carrot tops. We'd rather use basil for that, especially because we have so much basil this year. Some people choose to do that. Some people just compost them. Whatever you do, don't throw them away because you can eat them or you can compost them. So something to consider. When they're really small like this, those are the ones we just toss in with the chickens. That's the benefit of having chickens next to your garden. This one looks like a pretty big carrot. Wow. Yeah, it is. That's a nice one as well. Go in the pile. So this is what we have from just a little row. That's what I mean about having a staple crop for carrots. They take up very little space. That space that these carrots took up was this area right here. And you get all of that food per square foot. This is enough. I don't want to overwhelm my wife with bringing in too much stuff. When, we're very busy right now. So with other things, we're trying to make applesauce at the moment and that pesto and working. And so what we're going to do is just cut the tops off, get them stored. There's several ways to do that. It's worth it because you get so much food. So we're just going to make a little pile over here for now. Carrot tops to the chickens. Now they're all happy. And this is our carrot harvest without the tops. All we have to do is bring them inside, run them under the faucet, maybe peel a couple and eat them fresh this week and next week, and pretty much all set to go. The next crop that I'd really want to harvest, I'm looking forward to, is celery. We grow a lot of celery here, freeze it, and we've got celery for the year. As you can see here, we've got a whole bunch of celery right here in this location. We've also placed a lot of celery back here, kind of intercropped it back here by these tomatoes and these massive squash that are growing all throughout the back over here. And I think that's where we're going to start with the harvest back here, taking just maybe 4 or 5 plants that we can eat within the next couple weeks, and whatever we don't eat, of course, we'll just freeze. Then of course we have a whole bunch of celery back here. I don't know what that would be, 25, 30 plants probably back here. Okay, so I'm going to work underneath this squash that's really coming along here, this spaghetti squash. We've got several plants in here, celery. I don't do cut and come again. We want a big harvest. We freeze them, we save them for the year and take it out. And so I'm just going to start taking these out of here. Here's a nice plant. Putting them over there. Extras go in by the chickens. Couldn't be easier. If you've ever had fresh celery from your garden, it is so flavorful compared to the stuff in the store. The stuff in the store is bland, doesn't taste like much at all. This is actually real salty. If you think of celery salt, when you purchase that at the store for seasoning in your soup or whatever, that's what this tastes like when you bite into it. It's really good. There's a lot of good flavor. Most people think celery doesn't taste like anything. They don't know what they're missing because they haven't grown it themselves. Now, celery is a tricky plant to grow. It's a tricky plant to start, not to grow. So if you're intimidated by celery, once you can get past the seed starting process, it's actually a really easy crop to grow. Just don't let it dry out. Keep it watered really well, a lot of mulch, and keep it in the shade or at least partial shade. You're gonna have a huge celery crop. I think all I'll do is I'll harvest a couple spaghetti squash, but look at the size of the spaghetti squash in our garden this year. It's unreal. You will not find these in the store. At least I can't find them in the store anywhere around me. To give you some perspective, you see a lot of spaghetti squash in the store like this. But wait till we go over here and you see the ones in this raised bed. Biggest ones I've ever seen in my life. So I'm just gonna rip this off. And this is ginormous. And it's hard to tell on camera, but the other one my hand could almost cover up. This one, not even close. This has gotta be at least, I'm thinking 10 pounds here. We've got some good ones down here. This one in the back is also just huge. These are really big, you guys. Moving her away, that's a good one right here. And then this one's really big, but this one from the same plant is enormous. And you've got this little one growing, which I don't think it's gonna make it. It's too late in the season. It's already the end of September. Yeah, we'll start with this one. What I try to do is, these little ones like this, they're not gonna make it. So what they're doing is they're taking energy away from the plant when they should be putting it in here. When I try to get these, sometimes you can snap them off like that. Otherwise, I try to get as high as you can the stem. We're gonna eat this fresh. The idea is to have fresh food the next couple weeks from our garden and then do the bigger harvest where we take all the stuff out of the garden. And then we've also got this one down here, which we can harvest too. So definitely not big. It's a little on the small side, but it's turning yellow, which means it's gonna stop growing and it's just gonna remain that size until it ripens, until it turns yellow. So we've got these two for this week. And let's go see how the butternut squash are doing. Butternut squash this year did not do the greatest. Over here, they're almost non-existent with the exception of that little one. On this side, they did better. This one's okay, it's getting a little brown on here. This one is ready. It's got a real hard rind. It's brown up here. This one I will take inside. That one's ready. That one's ready over there. So again, with these, a lot of times when they're bent like that, oh, there we go. It's tricky because they're bent like this instead of straight up, so you don't have a good cutting angle, but usually it works just to bend them the opposite way, and they usually end up coming off. Same with this one. Same idea. I'm gonna bend it up, and it should just come off that way. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Got 3 of these. 2 of the other squash, the spaghetti squash, so we're set. We love eating squash. Not long of a harvest at all. It doesn't take long to get this. The potatoes take the longest. Those carrots take the second longest. But if you think about eating fresh for the next week, nice fresh food. You got nice herbs over here. Beautiful tomatoes, slicers, and romas. Nice mixture of good winter squash there. Really good carrots. Great potatoes. Those are going to be great. And of course, fresh celery over here. When it comes to growing food, it is not difficult. My goal of this channel is to teach people to simplify their life to increase its quality. This is quality. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like to be rich. This is what it looks like to simplify your life to increase the quality of your life. If you'd like to learn more about how we do things on our homestead, our philosophy, what we believe in, click this video over here. I really think it's going to help you, and we're really glad you took the time and energy out of your day, because you know time is valuable, something you can never get back. We're glad you took that time to watch this video. Thank you so much for watching Together We Harvest. I hope to see you on another video.